Hi all, let me share that the live show has started. Hi all, I hope the connection is better now. May I introduce you to my newborn son Michael, who's drinking some bottled milk as mommy is not home now and daddy needs to keep him happy. But doing our best to really give him as much breast milk as possible. I will have to put the camera down sometimes, but I keep on talking and I'm here to answer your questions. Maybe just general statements, some general statements to start it off. Crypto is back at 10k, it went to 9k. Bitcoin Cash, I think, bottomed at 270, it's around 320 now. So crypto seems to be like still many people bullish and thinking that we just saw 40% correction and now it's over, but I don't think that's likely. I think it will go a lot deeper. And let's ask Michael what he thinks about the stock market. Hi guys, I'm the son of Mark, and so what I wanted to say is that I think the stock market is gonna go up a lot, but at the same time, interest rates will also go up a lot over the next 10-20 years. So that means that bonds will go down, and that's not so good. And because stocks go up, it also means that commodities and gold will go down also, so that's also not so good. But the good news is that crypto will also go up, but not immediately. In the first phase, it will correct because it just went up a lot and way too much. So that's it, guys. Bye. So that's what Michael thinks about it. So let me know, guys, what do you think about it? Hi all, welcome to the live show. No questions yet. Hi Primrose. Hi LBGER. Hi Jimmy. Yes, he's a clever boy. Well, he starts earlier. We're gonna take a little milk break here. I hope that will work. So as you can see, my son is more brown than, but he's a mixture. He's brownish. He's not white like me. My daughter, my first daughter Joy, is more white. He's more brown. He looks more like his mom, but his body is more white. His head is more brown. Yeah. But his lips are mine and his eyes and nose are mommy's. So yeah, people think like you have dominant genes, but I don't think that's really the case. What happens is it's a random thing. Like when you look at the family, so some siblings look like mom, some siblings look like the father, and well, it seems like a random thing to me. The beauty of gene selection, which I have been studying more, getting interested in the genomic fund of Catherine Wood of ARK Invest. I think it's very interesting. This is short term a much more difficult investment than Tesla. It hasn't crashed a lot like Tesla had, so then it's more difficult. Like, will it go up? It might not. But if you look at the past performance of this genomic revolution ETF, you can see that it is strongly correlated with the stock market, but it goes up a lot more and down a lot more. But overall, it goes up more. Since the stock market is going up, it goes double as much. So I think that's nice. It's a managed fund, and what they do very well is like they really see opportunities, and when something goes up, they will sell it and buy some other things where they see opportunities. And like funds have great advantages as an investor. It is a big problem to find great investments, and and it's a full-time job to follow it all up. So funds are a great solution to invest some of your money with other people, but the challenge of funds is it's as hard to find a good fund manager as it is to find a great investment. So it is actually very rare to find great fund managers, and you also need some vision and belief there. Like with a great investment, yes, you may believe it's a great investment, but the the future will have to prove that. It's not because in the past there was a great performance that it will be in the future also. For example, with Tesla, actually in the past it was not a great performance, at least not the past 5 years, because it didn't do anything while the stock market went up 50%. Um, but of course, counting from inception since 2011 or 2012, when it started quoting, actually Tesla did very well. It went up from $10-20 to today $250. That's 10x. That's still very, very respectable. It's just that the past few years it has done poorly. That's a good investment, but it's the same for fund managers. You want to find fund managers that have a great track record, otherwise they don't. You shouldn't consider them. Same as with lawyers or doctors or plumbers. You want to see a great track record before you put your faith in them. But at the same time, you don't want them to be heroes yet, because if they are heroes, they come at a great, very expensive price. And when it comes to fund managers, when they are heroes already, well, then they probably gonna underperform the market the next few years. That's just how it goes. When they had amazing performance, and that with ourselves also as investors, when we had amazing performance, very likely we're ready for a great uppercut. And that's the case with fund managers also. So have to be very careful with that. But I think Catherine Wood, even though her main fund, the ETF, the innovation, ARC Innovation ETF, that's her main fund, and it has 1.6 billion under management. They did about 20% return, 23% return over the past 5 years since inception. That's a very good performance. But I think someone like Catherine Wood can keep such a performance. She hasn't outperformed herself. She can keep such performance and even go higher, because of course the stock market the past 5 years has done also very well. What is it, 10% per year or so? So she did double. That's good, but it's not like amazing. If you look at the best performing ETFs, there are quite a lot that did a lot more than that. But of course, many of those are leveraged ETFs. But when you look at the different ETFs that she has 5 actually, or 4. I'm not taking the ARC Innovation ETF, which is the main ETF. I'm taking a sub fund. It's a Genomic Revolution fund, and that fund has not done so well. Yes, the past 3 years it was 20%, but since inception it's only like 12 or 13% the past 5 years. That's not a great performance. It's of course better than indexes, but it's not that much better. But of course, yeah, and it has reached the all-time high of that fund. Was reached also a year ago, and it's the same price today. But someone like Catherine Wood believes that actually in that sector, in that healthcare sector of genomic editing, you have a lot of like great opportunities. She thinks that actually some of these companies are bigger opportunities than Tesla, and that says a lot because she believes strongly in Tesla. Hey, just one moment, and then let me check the questions. So anyways, very excited about that fund, and still investing more. As Tesla goes up, I get more, the value of my account goes up, and so I can also borrow more to invest. And I think investing in something like that ARC Genomic Revolution ETF is a good choice. Well, you want? Wait, I need to give some more milk here. Yeah? Well. Right, let me take a look at the questions. Paul van der Loo says that Ray Dalio just wrote a long essay where he makes the case for buying gold. Yeah, I mean, there is a strong case for to always have some gold in your portfolio. If you look at my spreadsheet of the returns of the past 100 years, I will put the link below again. You should really check that. You can see clearly that gold is inversely correlated to stocks, and bonds are not. Everybody think bonds are no, bonds are not inversely correlated to stocks. It's gold, and gold only. So gold is a great hedge against a poorly performing stock market. So if you like to have hedges in your portfolio, gold is certainly a good one. But as I mentioned before, I don't think it's a good investment strategy to hedge, because hedging means you take opposite positions to the positions that you have, and so if it works out, which is the purpose, then well, one of those positions will do poorly and will drag down the total returns of your portfolio. A much better way to protect yourself is not to take opposite positions. That makes no sense to me, but invest in different good risk-reward investments that are not correlated. So if one doesn't work out, or two or three, then there is at least another one that works out. And I think I'm really doing that with my portfolio. Like, I'm invested. Actually, Catherine Woods sees 5 big opportunities that may really like grow the economy a lot, and one of them is cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. I'm invested in that fully. I have Bitcoin Cash. If crypto does good, I will do well too. Another one she says is she calls it cheaper energy storage, and Tesla is one player in that field, because it's really taking advantage of the innovations of battery technology, and it's only thanks to that we can have electrical cars, and so Tesla is a great play on that. Nou wel, jongen. Oh well. I'm sorry, I'm giving the bottle here. So I'm also invested in that. Another one is the genomic revolution, which is an amazing innovation that allows now to really see the cause of many serious diseases that are actually due to the way your DNA is composed. And sometimes there are like there are random mutations with every new child, and some of these mutations are terrible and give terrible diseases, and it's thanks to genomic editing that you can solve these things. Before that was not possible. But that's for the extreme cases. It goes very far, and it's a great innovation. So there are 2 more great innovations that she sees coming and that she has funds around. One is robotics, and I don't have any play on that. And then there's another one that I forgot. It's artificial intelligence. But there, I think Tesla is also a great place, because what is that AI? It's like being very impressed about what a computer can do, and Tesla is really on the forefront there of having self-driving cars. That will be very impressive. Like, you can already see that on YouTube. They did a demo of their most up-to-date software that is not available to Tesla customers yet, and people could just sit in the car and see how the car is driving. It's incredibly impressive. Okay, it's not all there yet. There are also some disappointments, but it's already miles ahead to the competition, and this will be very impressive for people, and will really like relieve us from needing drivers in cars. That will be a great change for society. So AI, I'm not playing, but I do think with Tesla, you're also playing that a bit. Let me now take a look at the questions. Yes, I think there is a high probability that BTC will go back to 4K, 5K, but I would say there's a high probability that we go to 55% undervaluation to the trend line. I think that's the high probability. To say the exact prices of Bitcoin or Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash is much harder. But if you just wait for that, that will very likely happen sooner or later. before the next bull market, that is. But if it's only in like half a year, the trend line goes up very quickly. We're at 300 billion. In half a year, we'll be at 400 billion. So 50% today is like 150 billion, but in half a year, it's like 200 billion. So it also goes up over time. This undervalue, yeah, even if we reach it, that doesn't mean it's going to be cheaper fiat prices as today. But personally, I do think we will reach this quite quickly over the next few months. Actually, I think. And so yes, it will be a lot lower fiat prices than today. Hi all, welcome to the live show. Look at the little boy. Drinking is the only thing he does. Drinking, and of course peeing and pooping. Yeah, it's so important for them. That's where they get all their energy from milk, and only milk, nothing else. That's why breast milk is very important, I think, if you can do that. Hi Crypto, welcome. Great to hear you also invested in Tesla. Congrats. It's going up strongly. $258 we are today. Also very typical. Like, it's unbelievable how many naysayers you have. Like, when you have great opportunities. When I was sharing, I was investing in Tesla around $200, $190, $180. The responses were very, very negative, and then the price goes up, and the responses are much, much more positive. But it's so important that you don't let yourself be swayed by other people's opinions, and of course your own internal parts that are afraid, of course, and have rational conversations and take rational decisions is very, very important. And so for today, I still think that crypto is overvalued in the short term and undervalued in the long term. Paul van der Loo says that Ray Dalio, one moment, that Ray Dalio thinks that that gold is actually a good investment, and will outperform stocks over the next 5 to 10 years. Well. I think Ray Dalio is wrong there. I think. What are the arguments here? These are conclusions. What are his arguments? Huh? I would like to hear those because I think that's very unlikely. Hit that like button, guys. Let's see at the rest. What's your professional opinion on the UK economy with Brexit looming and how it could affect local investments such as property or the wider world with things like crypto? Well, I think in general what you will see is bigger coalitions as communications goes up. Everything becomes smaller, and so that's why, for example, all these countries in the European Union made a bigger coalition. Actually, why they do that is because they can't tax their citizens efficiently anymore. So in Europe, there was a lot of competition between the different countries when it comes to taxation. They were all trying to compete with each other, and as a consequence, it was very good for the citizens because they can, for example, do their savings in neighbor A, and then they go buy their cars with neighbor B that has lower taxes on cars, and then they go buy whatever their butter and cheese in the other neighbor in country because they have lower taxes on that. Like, people go shop around, and in Europe that had become very easy. And so because of this competition, governments have a hard time to tax. So that's why governments actually band together, and because they know that if we form like one big coalition and we agree on doing the same taxation and the same rules for our citizens, then they won't go to each other. There is less competition. So that's why the governments band together. And this is a normal thing that happens as people become more mobile. They are also able to go shop around. If they are not mobile, they are not able to shop around. And mobility is with cars, but also with telecommunications, using the internet easily and shop with neighboring countries easily. All these things have improved, and so inevitably governments will become bigger, coalitions will gang up and form one country basically. Whereas before you had two countries. This is an evolution that has been going on since for millennia. Like we used to be, our countries of today used to be not countries. They were not nation states. Before that, you had actually the provinces that were the powerhouses, and then sometimes united into much bigger coalitions. But so this happens, and so it's of course very good that the UK doesn't join the European Union, because that makes that at least there is some competition left in Europe, which is very good for the citizens. Of course, it also means different laws, borders in between. That's not fun. There are advantages to countries ganging up, that you don't have any borders anymore. That's very nice. As a citizen, you can go work anywhere in that country becomes much bigger, so you can move to any place without paperwork, and you can like work in any place without paperwork, without crossing borders. So there are advantages and disadvantages, but the disadvantages are big for the European Union. Like they all put pressure on each other to have the same rules. So that means like coffee shops in the Netherlands is great. You can like buy legally drugs there and smoke marijuana and even buy hard drugs. Well, that's all not like the other guys put a lot of pressure to stop that. Or in Germany, you can drive unlimited speed. Well, the other guys put pressure on that. The other countries that are now like in one big union put pressure on stopping that. Like all the good stuff goes out also with the same regulations. Anyway, so but I think for the UK, its economy actually. The problem with such, there are pros and cons. I can't really give a final conclusion there. But the UK has definitely done an amazing job in keeping a competitive economy, in my opinion. Much more so than socialist Europe. They have broken down a lot more the socialism than, for example, France. It's a total disaster. So being in a union with France is not the greatest thing for your economy. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, it's a baby boy. Family getting bigger. He's drinking milk, a thirsty little baby boy. Oh my god. But he's not smiling yet. He's 3 weeks. Or maybe when he's sleeping, he's smiling. So yeah, if there is anything else that you want to discuss, guys, let me know. But yeah, I think with my portfolio, I'm starting to build a third investment with this Genomic Revolution ETF that's not correlated to the other investments, I believe. Of course, I mean, there is, of course, a strong correlation when it comes to recession and depression here. Like, stocks will all go down. Genomic Revolution will go down together with Tesla, and even crypto will go down if you get a serious recession. That's very true. But I think that I discussed that in length. Why I think this is a very low probability that we'll get a recession right now. That's really an important decision to make if you want to invest based on a recession. There needs to be a high probability for that. I don't think that's there at all. That's why I really question Ray Dalio, his perspective here, or that Paul Van der Loo brings up, that gold would be a good investment. That really goes against the cycles that are clearly visible in the markets. Yeah, that's why I also like Catherine Woods very much, huh? Because when the market corrected strong, not long ago, in December of 2018, there was not only crypto that corrected strong, it was also the stock market at the same time. Many people were there again. Oh my God, crash, it's gonna get much worse. Eh? But if you look at what Catherine Woods was saying on the news, was that these are good times. You have to invest in innovation right now. The economy is going to grow a lot thanks to these innovations. A recession is unlikely. But she was right. Huh? Since then, actually, the market has recovered and is now just the past few weeks at new all-time highs. So it's very likely that it will break. It has just broken out, and that it will continue to do so and will go much higher, the stock market. Normally, that also means that crypto will also go up a lot, but crypto has its own cycle because it's a very young industry of booms and busts that you also can see clearly. And simply because of its cycle, like crypto has had very strong bust cycles, like busts, bear markets, even when stocks went up a lot. So it wouldn't be the first time that crypto goes down over the next half year strongly, while in the meantime stocks go up. There was the same in the previous bear market of 2011 and also of 2014. Both bear markets, stocks are doing well. Let me see at the questions. Let's see what other questions we have. What investments have you found interesting in Kenya? Well, Kenya is a very different country than Europe or America. It's a very fast-growing economy. Real estate has been a tremendous investment here the past 30 years, but since the past few years it started correcting a bit. But I think that the stock market is actually an opportunity in Kenya because the past 10 years it has done poorly, and it is a fast-growing economy, so very likely it's time for it to go up a lot again. People also don't really talk about the stock market here or invest in it. Everybody invests in land. That's the golden goose, but that's typical. It has been going up for 30 years and everybody is full of awe for it, whereas stocks have been going down or sideways for 10 years and nobody talks about it. So that's typical. So everywhere you go, you see the same dynamics with investors. Yeah. Let me see what other questions we have. But when it comes to Kenya and just Africa in general, I think that for young people who watch my channel or that are from Africa, it's really worth it to look into crypto, even though I think it will correct a lot in the short term. That does give a great buying opportunity, and crypto is one of the few things where you can actually make money with passive investments. When you start with a little bit of capital, you can really build a lot of capital, but you have to combine it with yes, passive investing, but also active participating in coins, doing valuable work for coins and getting paid for that. It's something you can do, but basically you have to build an online life for yourself, and really start to live online and make your money in the crypto world. That's an opportunity for Africans, for people from developing countries. It's an opportunity because typically, actually, what you see is that these communities for crypto are Western people and Asian people. The economies that actually do very well, that's where the people come from that are active in these crypto communities, because it's the most advanced. It will be the same for biotech or any advanced industry. It comes from the advanced countries. But when you're not from an advanced country, you can jump. You can jump because you don't need to grow with your local economy. You can grow with this new economy that's all playing online. But you need to start studying, start watching a lot of YouTube videos about the topic, read a lot of forums, start participating and grow a lot. And then you will grow at the same speed and your portfolio also as these new industries do. So that would be my recommendation for Africans. And so don't do what the local people do. They are all investing in land these days. No, that's not where the opportunity lies. No, but there are many opportunities, of course, in fast developing countries that you don't have in the West. Like, for example, many businesses can have high profit margins because employment is so cheap. So employing people is very, very cheap here. But you do can make you can ask money in businesses for services or products that you sell, because there is a class that's rich in these countries and that do pay a lot of money, Western prices, that are willing to pay Western prices for goods and services, but your employment is very cheap, your labor is very cheap. So that's an opportunity in such countries. What do you think of Greek equities? They are up 44% year to date. Well, that sounds like the opportunity has passed. But it was a good one, huh? Will government regulations destroy privacy coins? No. Government regulations can't destroy cryptocurrencies, just like they can't destroy drugs or weapons. Like, people need weapons to protect themselves. People need drugs to feel good or to heal. And some drugs are forbidden by governments, other drugs are allowed, but people still need the drugs even if it's forbidden. And they are very, very important for some people. So they will pay a lot of money for them. Same for weapons, or same for and same for cryptocurrencies. Like, they are very important for some people. If you want to do private transactions online, you can't do it with fiat money. It's not possible. It's not possible with Western Union or a bank transfer. You really need cryptocurrencies, but you need privacy coins. And so privacy coins, even if they are outlawed in certain countries, will never die, will continue to flourish, but they can get strong corrections in price, and those are buying opportunities, because privacy is a fundamental USP, unique selling proposition of cryptocurrency. So it's very important to like, coins that are focused on offering privacy will do well, because it is very important, and it's the only today is the only reason why people use cryptos, is to do private payments online. So no, government regulations can't kill that. They can only give like attention to these coins, can cause temporary corrections, yes, for sure, can cause people to go to jail that don't belong there, can ruin people's lives, so certainly be careful with all that. But I mean, they're not gonna kill this technology. They can't do that. Even if even if they would create a world government, which will take, it's not possible. It will only happen when there are other worlds where this world is competing against that. You will ever get a world government that creates the same rules for everyone. But even then, like, You have the same rules in all states of the 52 states of the United States. They all have the same federal regulations, but they're still unable to destroy things like drugs or weapons, or like they outlaw a lot of things. Alcohol they outlawed even for a while, but it doesn't mean that you outlaw something that it like people stop using it. To the contrary. Yeah. Hey Mark, do you think it's a good time to invest in alts? No, I don't think so. No, I think crypto will correct strong, and alts also. But I do think also a better investment than Bitcoin BTC. Yes, but crypto in general is not a good investment right now in the short term. But in the long term, it is, and it all depends on your exposure whether you should be buying or selling today or holding. If you have no exposure, yes, you should be buying today. If you have a high exposure, you should be selling, and if you have a medium exposure, you can just hold. That's my opinion. And it also depends on your buy-in price. Like you may have a higher exposure today, but you bought them cheap and you're sitting on major gains. Okay, then you don't have to sell. But you have a high exposure today and you're sitting on break even. You should probably sell some because it's going to correct a lot more. It also depends on your mental state. Will you freak out when it goes down or not? Or are you relaxed losing 80%? You're ready for that? Okay, that all depends on that. You have to talk with yourself and with your different parts to know what you really should do. Yeah, easiest way to open up a crypto wallet or invest in crypto in Kenya. This is the same for all countries. You have to really like start googling, and many services in crypto are international. You don't. It doesn't matter what country you're from. You can open an account with Binance or Bitfin. Well, let's not promote Bitfinex, but Binance, Bitstamp, Kraken, Coinbase. Like, just check out all the popular crypto exchanges, and maybe some will not allow you to open an account, but most will. And upload your papers, and voila, you're off. Of course, to do bank transfers may be a problem between your country and these websites, but you can just inform if that's possible before you open an account. Steliano says, greetings from Greece. Greetings back. So yeah, if you have any other questions, guys. My little boy is sleeping. And here in Kenya, the sun is shining again. It was actually cold the past month. Cold means 20 degrees here, but there is no sunshine. There is just clouds all month, even almost 2 months of clouds. But it is 20 degrees, but now the sun is coming through again. They called it rainy season, but it didn't rain that much. It has started with the climate change. It has started to rain less here. Yeah, Tesla, what will it do in the short term? In a couple of days, they had the earnings were released of the second quarter, because they released the deliveries, and that was very positive. That a new all-time high in deliveries of 95,000 vehicles. But how will they do with their financials? Will they post a profit or a loss? It will be interesting to see. Stock market will likely react to it, up or down. But yeah, this is hard to predict what will happen. I'm just being careful not to take too much leverage, because of course it can always correct also. But yeah, it's the wrong focus. You should really not look at that. I was watching a lot of Peter Lynch videos, a great stock market investor from the 80s and 90s. Some good interviews of him I shared on my Twitter. And what he says is that Like a company that grows in revenue over time, while the stock of it will also grow in value over time. But a company that does not grow or stays flat or even shrinks in revenue, while the stock will also shrink, go down in value. So look, when you choose businesses to invest in, look at, are they like growing or not, and are they fast growing or not. You can't see that in the profits that they publish, because some companies don't post any profits, don't don't seem to make any profits, but still they are growing fast. Yeah, that's a good sign that they are growing fast. You shouldn't be focused on, oh, they're not making profits. No, of course, if the debt that they take on is going out of hand and is too high, then then that could form a problem. But I don't think that's the case with Tesla. But yeah, very interesting. Peter Lynch also said that, and that's very unique. You don't hear that much, but actually, that you really have to follow your edge, and your edge is very often the industry that you are working in. Like, let's say you're I don't know, you're working in the medical field. Well, you can see what products are popular with patients. What do people like to use, and you can just look at and what companies seem to really do a great job, and seem to find great adoption, like the medications that they offer are becoming more and more popular. You have to look in your own industry, and then you look at the stock, and you will see that, yeah, it may be that the stock also has grown a lot, and so there is no opportunity, but it may also be that the stock has been going sideways for 5 years or even down, while you see that in the medical world they are actually doing very well. These kind of opportunities are everywhere available in every industry. And so you have to use your edge, because you know a lot more about your industry than, for example, a professional fund manager. They don't know. They don't know what you know from the industry. They don't work in the field to see these things. No, they study the industry based on the reports. But yeah, that's also like, that's not as close as you are. So, uh, but but what he says is that, so typically that Peter Lynch says that, like, all these people, they know so much about their own industry that they work in, but then they decide to invest, and invest in the whatever is popular in the investment markets. Whatever people are praising in the investment markets, they're going to invest in. And that's, we also see with crypto. Like, many people, they come invest in crypto when it just went up a lot, because, oh, that's the place to be. Like, you become rich there, so let's all invest in there. But they don't have the foundation to invest in crypto. They don't know anything about the crypto world. They take just whatever is like most popular and they invest in it, and then of course they lose their shirt. Of course. Yeah, it's much, yeah, it's yeah, and I really think that's the case very badly with crypto, because I'm sorry to say, and I keep on repeating myself, but in crypto, if you look at the market, if you're into the market, if you care about who is using crypto, which merchants are merchants adopting crypto, which customers are using crypto, you can see clearly that Bitcoin BTC, no, like the people that hold this coin, they don't use that with merchants. They don't do that. They don't do it. And the merchants themselves, yes, you see some kind of, you see expansion. Like, for example, there is what's the name, Square, a popular payment provider in the US, has adopted cryptocurrencies, and suddenly, like, you can pay with tens of thousands of merchants with Bitcoin thanks to Square adopting it. Okay, but then they say, like, oh, look, Bitcoin is expanding in adoption, but nobody's gonna use it. Like, we know for sure that nobody is gonna use Bitcoin to pay these merchants, even if they can, because it's like $1-2 transaction fee. People don't do that. So they're not gonna buy a product for $50 or $100 or even $500 when you have to pay $2 or $1 transaction fee, and it may take like half an hour before it's confirmed that your transaction has succeeded. That they don't do that, and so these payment providers very quickly also offer these alternatives like Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum, and you can pay with that, and that's what people will actually use if they want to pay a merchant, because the payment provider himself, BitPay or Square, they will also mention that, hey, there is a difference in transaction fees here, and they will promote the coins that actually work well and that are cheap to use, because they want a good customer experience. So, I mean, with merchants, Bitcoin BTC is failing compared to other coins like Bitcoin Cash, and so this is what we can see. But even the people that are totally busy in the crypto world with crypto, they do crypto 24/7, even they can't see it. Even they are blind to these obvious realities. They're very biased, and you see this in the tech industry also. Before Apple versus Microsoft at the time, it's like gang warfare, and people are blind to like Apple is everything or Microsoft is everything, and the other one is a total loser and is worth nothing. That's not true, of course. Apple has qualities, Microsoft has qualities, and as an investor, it's really your job to see these things and see where the opportunity lies, and not be so biased. Even when you're invested heavily into one company or one coin, have your eyes open for the competition and see what they do well, and be willing to shift your capital to the better players. If that is, if you want to see your capital grow, you better do that, because it's constantly shifting. The markets and the industries within and the players within them. There's constantly shifting from old industry can have like very stable market dominances, like Coca-Cola. Yes, very unlikely Coca-Cola will lose market share, although it is losing market share slowly, of course. It's a pretty decent bet. It won't be disrupted quickly, but in the tech industry, that's a very different story. Like disruption goes very fast. So you can't count on a market leader keeping its market lead, especially not when there are clear signs that the market leader is failing compared to the competition in adoption. So like, yeah, I mean, my edge is crypto. Like, I've been following these markets, and still, like, I make mistakes also. I've made many mistakes, and I've selected the wrong coins in the past, also paid a heavy price for that. But yeah, so will many others. Let's see other questions. Stelianos asks, should I buy Tesla? I can buy 3 shares. Yes, I think you should. But it depends also on your other opportunities that you see. Like, if you have small amount of capital, I mean, Tesla, yeah, I think is a great investment, but this will not do 100x. That's not possible. I mean, yeah, if you have leverage and you stay invested for the next 2 years, you might reach that. But and the risk reward is very good, but there is much better risk reward to be found in small companies. For example, in the biotech world or in the crypto world, small coins, like there you can do like not a 100x best case, but you can do a 10,000x. So if you have little money, it's not worth it to invest in big coins or big companies. You should really like study the markets and go to where places where the big capital can't go. Like for example, I can't be bothered studying small coins because it's too much work, and like if it's small market caps, I have too much money to invest. It's not interesting for me. Um, yeah, that's how it is. So, but it is very interesting for you. I'm happy with the 10x or 100x, but I would not be happy with that if I have only 1,000 euros to invest. Then I want to have a potential of a 10,000x. Huh? So I think, yeah, I mean, okay, if you have no time to do that, like say you have a job or a company to run, yes, then you can't do that. And even if you have little amount to invest, it might be better to invest it indeed in big things like a big ETF like this, or a big company like Tesla, or a big coin like Ethereum. Yes, because it requires little work and the risk reward is very good there. But the upwards potential is very limited compared to smaller opportunities. But smaller opportunities require a lot more time to study, and also like dedication. You really need to believe in these projects. You can only achieve that by putting in the time, a lot more time. And also, but the other opportunity you have there, and you don't have with Bitcoins, is you can actually start working for this project. If it's a small company or a small coin, you can, when you see that opportunity, see like, hey, they do a great job, they're really growing well, they have great tech, they have a great community. They are not there with adoption, of course, because they are still very small, but they will value you. Like, they would need people, they have a shortage of people. If you start working for free for them, you can start ask money. After a while you will be paid in shares, or in options, or in coins, and these coins are worth very little, so you get a lot of them, and that's how you build wealth from nothing, huh? Yeah. Do you think that people should only invest in altcoins that are actually achieving adoption? Um, I think, wow, when you invest in Bitcoins that are valued already in the top 10 and are valued in the many billions, yes, you should expect at least like evidence that adoption is happening. Otherwise, like, it's overvalued. But of course, not for smaller projects. Like, of course, they don't have adoption yet. They're still building their tech, or their community at early phases. You can't expect adoption there yet. So you have to go with the other information that you have. Um, let's see at the questions. Thanks for joining, guys. Great to see you. Hit that like button. And we're almost an hour in, so I'm gonna have to end it soon. I'm very happy that you all joined. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Harvey Williams. Do you think it is wise decision to hold most of your crypto portfolio in BTC Bitcoin, even during a bear market? I've talked about this a lot, and people know my opinion on this. It is a definite no. Like, I have not invested in Bitcoin since January 2017, and it was before Bitcoin Cash forked off. But it was after it was clear that they would not raise the block size. I was only at the end of 2016 that became 100% sure that they would not raise the block size despite the blocks becoming full. So that became 100% sure, and the moment that became 100% sure, I decided to disinvest and to sell all my Bitcoin for other coins. Bitcoin was at that time still at 85% market dominance, but actually, since February 2017, a month later, the collapse started, and it collapsed from 85% market dominance to the whole year of 2017 to a low of 33% dominance. So it lost a lot of market share in that year, and it was before the loss that I decided to sell all my BTC for other coins. And then later Bitcoin Cash forked off in the middle of 2017 in August, and then I decided to invest a lot in Bitcoin Cash and have continued to be invested a lot in Bitcoin Cash, and I'm invested a lot more these days than during the bull market of 2017. So I'm very happy with that position. I think that's a great opportunity. It's still very cheap. Bitcoin Cash, like Peter Lynch says it, like opportunities, they don't fly by and disappear immediately. Very often opportunities are available for many years. Also in the stock market, when certain companies are clearly growing rapidly, but yet the stock price is not following. It's the same with Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum, I think, compared to Bitcoin BTC. Like, it's very clear to me that these coins are growing a lot faster in real adoption, in real usage, um, than Bitcoin itself. And but the price not, like, if you look at the price of Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin, it's not growing yet, but it will. But it may take another year, or it may start next month, or it may take another 3 years. You don't know when something takes off, but the longer it takes that the fundamentals are improving of one company versus another, the closer you get to a breakout. And that's true also in crypto. The fundamentals are constantly improving for Ethereum, for example, compared to Bitcoin. So sooner or later, you will see a breakout where Ethereum goes up a lot in value versus Bitcoin. And I think it's really a toss up here. Like a year ago or a year and a half ago, I was pretty certain, or gave high probabilities for a bear market, and also high probabilities that smaller coins would correct more than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin would correct the least. And that happened. That happened, and it has happened. But it's already happened. That's what happened the past year and a half. Yes, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and all the others corrected a lot more than Bitcoin BTC, but that is over now. Like, even if the bear market continues, which I think is likely, it is very unlikely that Bitcoin dominance will continue to go up. It's much more likely that it will fall again, and it will fall a lot, even if the bear market continues. Why? Because that's what in the past also happened. Past patterns are much more valuable to base your investments decisions on when you want to, like, take advantage of the cycles. You have to look at past cycles and what happened in past cycles, because it will likely happen again. And so in past cycle of the previous bear market of 2014 until the middle of the bear market, Bitcoin dominance went up, but in the middle of the bear market it started to go down, and down a lot, even though everything went down. Most coins went down in fiat value, but some went up in the last part of the bear market. And the last in 2014, that was Ripple. Ripple went up a lot, and actually found its bottom much sooner than Bitcoin BTC. And because Ripple went up a lot, and some other coins also, there was a launch of new coins, and some coins also pumped. Was it Dash or Monero in the second half of the bear market? Yeah, some coins did go up in the second part of the bear market, and due to that, or didn't lose as much as Bitcoin, and due to that, Bitcoin lost dominance already in the second part of the bear market. And then when the bull market starts, it continues to lose a lot of market share, because it's during bull markets it's even worse. During bear market there is a recovery of dominance. Bitcoin gains back some market share, but not all, and we're very close to all. We're at 65% dominance. It started at 85%. So I mean, if it continues to go up from here, that would be miracles, because that means it would go back to the dominance that it once had before the bull market started of 2017. That's very unlikely. So it's just very likely here that Bitcoin will lose a lot of market share, and that's independent whether we have a bear market or bull market. Because if indeed most people think the bull market has started, and at best case we will test the bottom, but that's it. We will not go to a new low. Well, even then, Bitcoin Bitcoin will lose a lot of market share because it's the start of the bull market. I mean, smaller coins will go up a lot more than the big coins, and that means that the big coins lose market share. Huh? So voila, that's my opinion when it comes to investing in alts. Yes, it's much better today to invest in alts than in Bitcoin BTC, and that's just based on cycles. Huh? But it's also based on fundamentals, and this is like this is why I never invested in Bitcoin anymore since January 2017, because the fundamentals are just bad. And I never invest in anything that I believe has bad fundamentals, even if the cycles are to its advantage. Like, yes, I knew when we had the serious bubble in 2017 that, yeah, Bitcoin Cash, my favorite coins at the time, Bitcoin Cash and Obyte, since they are smaller coins, will likely go down a lot more. But I rather than Bitcoin BTC, but still, I don't dare to hold a coin that has poor fundamentals, because you can get surprises, very negative surprises. You also don't have strong hands in it. If you believe like, yeah, okay, yeah, this coin is making some mistakes, and yeah, it's not good to have high transaction fees for Bitcoin, but at least it's the market leader and it's the biggest one, and everyone wants to use Bitcoin anyway, so let's invest in Bitcoin. Yeah, but that's not, you're not having strong hands here, because the moment it collapsed through the floor, what will be the narrative in the media? The narrative will be, well, it will show all the negatives about that project. And and they will be true probably, or there will be a lot of truth in it. And so they will say that, yeah, Bitcoin, and with strong numbers, with strong statistics, like actually Bitcoin has been not growing in the amount of transactions like it used to do. Actually, it's flatlining already for a couple of years, the amount of transactions. And if you look at merchant adoptions, you will get some new statistics that show that actually, okay, merchant amount of people accepting BTC is up, but the amount of people using BTC with merchants is actually not up at all. It's actually has actually been going down. You start to get all those negative numbers while the price has collapsed already a lot. And you know it's true. Like, you know it's true. You know, like, yeah, the high transaction fees are not good for Bitcoin. I knew that, but still I decided to invest in it. Well, it doesn't give you strong hands. You might actually sell at the bottom. So that's why I don't do that. I don't dare to invest in things that I don't really strongly believe in, because it gives me weak hands. And there's also another very important thing, is that, you know, you're actually doing something not only for yourself when you invest money. It's to make, of course, in the first place, to make money, but it's also about improving the world. Like, what do you want to do here? Once you have made enough money, you really want to like improve the world, for yourself and your children, and the people. And if you invest money in projects that are not really doing a great job at serving people, they don't provide great products or services, but you invest in it because, yeah, because of, you're not looking at that. You're only looking at like, will I make money? Yeah, I think I will make money, so let's invest. No, like, that's not enough. You also want to invest in something that you believe like, hey, this will change the world. This will be really helpful for people. Like, if this company or this coin is successful in growing, it will really like offer a lot of value to people. People will love this product or this service or this coin. They will love to use it, and they will love to store it. That's what you should really like also find. That will be a great investment. Also, you need to look at the interests of the world and other people. I don't have that with Bitcoin BTC. I think they're actually doing great damage to the crypto industry by giving a bad user experience to people. Like, that's not good. Like, people come into crypto and they use Bitcoin, but if you want to show people how a Bitcoin transaction works, well, unless you want to hide it, you're gonna have to show them that you just paid $1 or $2 for the transaction. To send a little bit of money to your friend, you have to pay $1 or $2, or you have to set up a Lightning network, which is complicated, which you can't explain to your friends. It's basically embarrassing. You can't really show it off because it's not cool. It's not cool. But with Bitcoin Cash, you can, like, you can easily install the wallet, Bitcoin.com wallet. You can send a little bit of money to your friend. It will arrive immediately at no cost. Huh? Uh, like that's cool. So yeah, all these things are very important. But people that come to crypto, most people that came to crypto in 2017 just came to make money. Huh? That's not enough. Huh? And then you make these kind of poor decisions. You don't care about the user experience. You don't care about the object, like about improving the world and improving people's lives. You only care about making money for yourself. Well, you will lose it because you don't do proper selection of the investments. And not immediately, of course. Like, market leaders can succeed in like, despite being poorly managed, still survive and grow with the industry for another decade. But sooner or later, the bill will be presented. Eh? Okay, but guys, I'm gonna have to end it. Otherwise, we make it too long. I will go to the last questions. Let me see. What other questions we have? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Cryptomedia says that did you see what happened on this correction? Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum went down a lot more than BTC. Yeah, that's true. I saw that. Yeah. Do you think it is still a good idea to buy now these coins? Yes, I do. I do. I do. Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you have 0% crypto exposure, crypto medias, I mean, current prices are good in the long term. Not in the short term, but in the long term they are. And in the short term, you can always be wrong. Like, I could be wrong. This we did see a 40% correction. If we're in a bull market, it might be that it goes up from here. I think odds are low, but there is a chance that that happens. So I mean, a 5 or 10% exposure to crypto makes a lot of sense. Even if you believe this will likely go down, well, there is a 5 or 10% chance it will go up a lot also. So such an exposure is warranted, especially Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash. They are cheap. Huh? They are cheap already. It doesn't have to be cut by four again to be cheap. It's cheap today. The all-time high of Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash was 5 to 10 times higher than it is today. And those were, of course, severe overvaluations, but it's very likely it will come back, these valuations, and it will go a lot higher than that in the next bull market. And so, yeah, there is a 5 to 10% chance. There is a 10% chance that actually these prices will not go much lower, and we do start a new bull market. And if you didn't invest today, you're left behind, and you're gonna have to leave the industry, yeah, because it sucks to be following an industry where you're not invested in at all, and you never took the chance. Yeah, it's not rational. I think it's rational to have a small exposure to crypto, especially at these valuations. Yeah, yeah. Jon Snow, Bitcoin Cash, Bcash is not is an insult for Bitcoin Cash. Like, we don't call Bitcoin B Core, for example, because that's an insult. There's no reason to use to be name calling projects, especially not here. It's not appreciated. So if you want to talk about Bitcoin Cash, you can say Bitcoin Cash, or you can say BCH, but please don't use Bcash. Mm, okay. Yeah, like people in the crypto community, many people like the brain is just not working. They don't put any mental energy into arguments. They repeat stupid arguments from other people. Like for example, hey, Bitcoin Cash is not used, and if it would be used like Bitcoin BTC, then it would have the same problems because it would have to also find a scaling solution. But this is not true. I mean, there was no problem for Bitcoin BTC. They created an artificial problem. They could have simply raised the block size, and that was always expected to happen from 1 megabyte to 2 megabyte. The moment the blocks start to become full, or actually before that, of course, you raise it so that you can handle more transactions and transaction fees don't have to go up. So that was very simple to do, but they didn't want to do that, and so they create an artificial problem, which Bitcoin Cash is not doing. So if Bitcoin Cash gets used a lot more, then it won't have that problem because they won't do such stupid policies. Yes, like blockchains can scale. This is ridiculous. That the idea that you can't scale a blockchain. Of course you can. You can always scale. It's always, you have to make trade-offs between indeed decentralization and efficiency. But these trade-offs you have to make, and the objective of a developer and an investor is to offer something to customers that works better over time and is cheaper, becomes cheaper over time. If you don't do that, you're gonna lose the market. So of course in the beginning everything is expensive. The first electrical car is expensive, but the objective has to be, if you make electrical cars, to build cheaper electrical cars over time, or build cheaper cell phones over time, or build better cell phones at the same price. But you need to improve. It has to become better and cheaper, or at least better, and then it can, like, but it's usually it's, you have to combine both. It has to become better and it has to become cheaper. You don't do that, you will lose the market, because that's the normal trajectory of every technology, that it becomes better over time and cheaper. It's also in the medical world like that. That's why this genome editing is very interesting, because the cost to create the first genome, a full the full information of a DNA of one person was 3 billion. The first one that happened 20 years ago. It costed like 10 years of computing power, and the total price was 3 billion for the whole project to create the first full DNA information of one person. Then it has gone down, and Steve Jobs, for example, paid like $100,000 to have a full DNA information that might have solved the disease, but it was too late. But he got his full DNA information, costing him 100K. Today you can do that for $300. So the price is just collapsing in this technology, and that's what you need for it to see worldwide adoption. People will not use a technology that's not going down in price. It's the same for cryptocurrencies. The transaction fee has to go down over time, not up. That's ridiculous. Like Bitcoin BTC will never make it. Never. It's so simple. And to see that people in the crypto world can't see that means that they are not critical thinkers. Sorry, and you're gonna lose your money like that. You can't invest like that. I think I did enough ranting for today. Time to end this chat. Yeah, I'm gonna ban Mr. Al Black because he insists on using Bcash or crypto medias. Could you do that? Thank you. Al Black. Okay. Yeah, so we will end the chat. Thank you all for joining, for the interesting questions, and yeah, I wish you all a great remaining Sunday. My little son. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.